I know this probably sounds like an ad, but I'm really excited. I'm also really proud that I've made it this far. I think it's cool. So if it sounds like I'm just making a giant ad, so be it. For once in my life, I'm selling out, but I'm selling out to myself, so that's something. I got almost all the way to my spot and I forgot one really important thing. Me feet condoms, because boots are great for detecting. But they're not so good for keeping the leeches off your feet. I don't want any stream-borne diseases. I've had enough exotic diseases in my life. That's much better. Can you see that bucket all the way over there? There is something really special in this bucket. And I'm not talking about the delicious liquid death. That's where I want to get to. There is a steep bank between me and it, and a deep bit of water. So shall we get some moist feet? Actually, this kind of looks doable. This is a really good spot to check. Do I bother? I decided not to bother. We're coming to the spot. I want a crevice today. And I can see some good crevices here. This looks like a boulder that might even shift. So, give me a second. Oh, it's... Now, I did not break my shovel. It's a good day. For the win. That'll do. It has been so long since I've been crevicing. So long. And just had a hunch that this is a spot that I haven't been to in a while. And the last time I was here, it was flooding so hard I couldn't really get into it. Anyway, I was about to put my pan down on this rock, but it's got a drill hole in it. They've put drill holes in that to load some explosives. You can see where the drill hole ended. And that's where it fractured. That's really cool little piece of history. Conveniently, I've been out here all day, so I've got a nice old man-back rock. What's in my bucket, you ask? For years on Vo-Gus prospecting, I have wanted to have my own signature pan. And it finally happened. I'm working in conjunction with another local prospector, and we've come up with a design for a pan. Now, I am not going to lie to you. This is not going to replace this pan for you at all. You're going to still need one of these. We've done it with the idea in mind that we're taking out the learning curve for gold prospecting and washing your roots. Now, Chris, this is just a 10-inch pan, so temper your expectations with how much gold you're about to see. Welcome to Between Chris's Legs. For a 10-inch pan, that's a lot of black sand. You truly never know what's going to be in a crevice. Sometimes they're great and sometimes they're terrible. And this one has coarse tin and it has a fair amount of gold in it. I can live with that for the first pan of the day. I know it's down there somewhere. Ah yes, my prospecting snuffer bottle, where all my prospecting cons go. For literally years, I've heard companies profess that they have reinvented the gold pan, when in fact they all work on exactly the same principle, and they're not really any different. I mean, this is the same as pretty much every other pan that I've ever used. And that's not a bad thing. Heaps of companies have made really innovative pans that can take the learning curve out, that can be a little bit faster or a little bit easier if you're injured, but they all rely on the same thing, is that you need to do a tipping method to get rid of the dirt, and therein lies the problem. Every pan works like this. You put some dirt in, you find something to sit on, you make everything nice and moist, you eat the big rocks, and then you shake it towards the riffle side. Once you've shaken it all to the riffle side, you dip and lift, or you push and pull, and that removes the light dirt off the top. Theoretically, all your gold is trapped in the riffles. Seems pretty simple, except for the fact that it's not. It's prone to human error. If you accidentally wash off too much dirt at one time, you will wash gold out of the back of your pan. Simple. And it takes a little bit of time and practice to get this right. I mean, I'm doing it without looking. I can do it by feel now, but I've done it full time for 8 years. Not everyone has that luxury. If you practice enough, you'll get real fast at it, and you'll be pretty good and pretty accurate. And if you've done it right, at the end of it, you'll have some black sand and a little bit of gold. The error with these pans always comes from the tipping. If you don't stratify at the right time and you don't wash off the correct amount of dirt, that's when you're going to lose gold. That's where your learning curve comes in. Not so with this. There's no tipping and it's super thin. Now I know what you're thinking. How is that useful for anything? I've got a full video up on Spud Engineering, my other channel, which is the behind the scenes channel for Vo-Gus prospecting, where I show you how this works and why it works. But let's recap. We put our pan down and we get some dirt. This pan doesn't particularly like clay. You need to classify the clay. So I'm going to avoid that for this second and get some looser dirt down the bottom. Once your circle is full of dirt, you go find a place to sit and then you make everything all moist. The only difference with this pan is we're not going to tip it at all. And because gold's so heavy, if you just make tight little circles, it'll sink straight down and land in one of these riffles. As I said, it doesn't really like clay, and this is an unclassified pan. So I'm just going to break that up with my fingers a little bit. Just like that. And then we make it moist by just shaking in gentle circles. And what you'll see is that centrifugal force and the stratification process makes all the dirt fan off that's too light to stay in the middle. Then we do just some slightly bigger circles. We've reduced all of our dirt to that in a couple of seconds. And I didn't have to tip it once. If we want to see if we've got any gold, we shake the pan to the front, and just with gentle little vibrations side to side, all the dirt spews off, and then we just swell. Yeah, we got black sand, and we got some gold. And there's a few pieces of gold in there, right in the center circle where they should be. And if there's any gold that made it out to the outer edges, I'd be pretty damn surprised. However, if you really want to know if you've got gold, you've got to put it in a regular pan. Pretty decent black sand, and we got some decent-ish looking specks of gold. Accusation audit out of the way. No, this is not going to replace any one of those pans. Let's face it, the modern gold pan is really good. It's everything that you need for most situations, but this is a lot of fun. I mean, that's what I've designed it for. The whole idea behind this is that you don't have to think. You can just keep piling dirt on top of it and go all day. It'll just keep shedding off all of the lighter materials in your gold. Your gold will be safe down in those riffles. As long as you don't tip it, you're golden. I did a speed test, and you can do 1 carat super sluice worth of dirt in about 2 minutes. This will do the same amount of dirt in 3 minutes, which is pretty good considering, well, yeah. What I really need from here is a scratcher. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm just trying to have fun. And I know this works. And I know it's going to fit in anyone's backpack, and kids will be able to use it. And because there's no learning curve, people won't get frustrated and give up the hobby. And for those seasoned prospectors who may be interested in having it, it's just a lot of fun to use. You also don't need very much depth of water to make this thing work. I think I actually got a shotgun pellet in there. Ha! Would you look at that? Oh yeah, and there's some gold. There's some gold. Real fine stuff. Even for Reedy. I've been here for what, like 10 minutes? I just scratched this out, scratched that out, and processed everything super quickly, including filming a video, and managed to recover gold that looks like that. And for those of you wondering, they are made out of ABS plastic, so they're pretty strong. That looks pretty good. Ah, this will have gold in it for sure. You know, I thought I was going to see a lot more gold in there, but it's really fine-grained black sand and only a couple little pieces. Oh, but, there are rocks in this one. Interesting. I think that's just a thing. Gold prospecting over the years for me has gone in and out of being interesting and boring. And at the moment, it's interesting again. I'm doing stuff that I'm excited about. Most of that isn't finding heaps of gold, which is great. Most of that excitement comes from adventuring. Let's see if that does any better. Not much black sand in that either. A little bit. Oh yeah. Yeah, a couple of nanos. I saw this and I thought, you know what? That kind of looks likely, doesn't it? Just sweep all the, we got gravel. Sweep all the leaves out of the way. Yeah, this should have gold. He says, hopefully, to his crevicing claw. It's actually kind of cool if you put it on the water, give it a little bit of a shake where there's some current, and it starts separating everything out. Can you see the gold and black sand? Almost like a sluice box. That's pretty neat, actually. See all the gold in the center riffle? Top left corner. And that's what I'm talking about. Even in a current, because the pan is held flat just like a sluice box, the gold can't go anywhere. It just gets stuck right in those riffles. I know this probably sounds like an ad, but I'm really excited. I'm also really proud that I've made it this far. I think it's cool. So if it sounds like I'm just making a giant ad, so be it. For once in my life, I'm selling out. But I'm selling out to myself, so that's something. I found if you just put it right on the surface of the water, put it just under, and then roll, that's what will reveal whether or not you got gold. Again, you're going to need a finishing pan. At the end of the day, this is not going to replace everything. This makes the learning curve a little bit easier and gives you a lot of fun. Also found if you just make tight little circles with the pan and then tilt it in one direction, the gold tends to stay behind on the edge that you're tilting away from. So you can see the line of gold there. All I'm doing is putting it under, tilting the pan towards my hand and making tight little circles. And it just separates everything. Look at that. Clean, clean gold right on that edge. There really wasn't that much dirt in this crevice, so that finished up pretty quick. But this opened up into a nice big trench. Not too much gold, but we did get some. See those flakes just there. Lots and lots of fine gold all through it too. My favorite part is you do this and it just gets all caught in these riffles. When there's a lot of gold, it just lights them up. Very cool to see. I don't know why that didn't have any gravel in it, but I do know that the crevice right at the very start of the whole series has a lot of gravel in it. And in theory, if I got gold there and there, I should get gold there. In theory. It's packed in properly. It's got that nice mix. Oh yeah. Oh, that is loaded. I haven't revealed the gold, but the black sand out of one little pan is pretty impressive. We do have some fine pieces just there. And we've got a nice big flake just there. That is good, good, good for a little handful of dirt. We're going to be adding to this absolute loaded pan of black sand. Unbelievable how much black sand's in there. And if you submerge it all the way under, it then soaks the dirt. And then if you start moving it, everything gets saturated. I love this pan. Don't you worry, there's plenty of gold mixed in it. Look how many specks there are. That crevice is all done. And it's looking pretty decent. It's looking real decent. Gotta be happy with that kind of gold recovery. It's a good speck count for one little crevice, and I don't even know how much is in there just yet. Whoa. Oh, That's what I was talking about. It just hugs in the riffles. This is everything I've managed to collect over the course of about an hour's worth of crevicing. Nothing too serious, bit of fun. I only worked a couple of them. Now I know I've seen some pretty good colour come out of that little blue circle. But it'd be nice to see how much exactly. There's everything -1 pan. Mostly fine gold, but for the amount of work that I put in, there's a couple of little crunchy bits there. So there you go. That's my new blue circle. Going to come up with a name, be on the old moldy soon. If you're interested in buying one, it's not going to change your life, but you will have a lot of fun. If you want to help support the channel, make sure you check out the old moldy where you can pick up some of my merch or pay dirt.